Hello YouTube, welcome back to another video. PlayStation have been under a lot of fire recently. They're all in the news for negative reasons, and go check out the latest one. I'm not going to talk about much of that because it is a really controversial subject, so I'm not going to talk much about it, but it is awful, the accusations against Sony and PlayStation as a company. And yeah, the news just keeps getting worse and worse for PlayStation. I found an article on the Metro. Metro is a free newspaper in the UK, and he says, "I finally bought a PS5 and I'm already regretting it. Reader's feature." Like, I'm not shy of saying how bad PS5 is as a console, but people are starting to realise that PlayStation is a bad company, PlayStation is a bad console. So let's get into this. Let's get into the main part of the bit that I found really funny. Where is it now? Let's just read it all, hey? By now, everyone knows how difficult it is to get a PlayStation 5. It's been out of stock since it was first released over a year now, and then when it does appear for sale, it's only for 10 minutes at a time, unless you want to pay $200 extra on eBay. Since it was getting near Christmas, when I knew they'd become even harder to get, and I still hadn't got one, that's what I decided to do, and I really hadn't. Wish I hadn't. Well, if anyone watches my channel, I give people loads of reasons not to buy a PlayStation 5 day after day, but people do not listen to me. And I keep telling you not to buy one. This is yet again another person with PlayStation 5 remorse. Let's continue. My history with consoles has been PlayStation 2, Xbox 360, and then PlayStation 4, which I think is pretty typical for most people. Lots of gamers pretend to be loyal when a generation is going on. No one likes to admit they backed the wrong horse. But I think when it comes to a new generation, people are pretty sensible and pragmatic and will happily switch alliances to get the console with the best prospects. And what is that console? It's the Xbox Series X and S with Xbox Game Pass. The best value in gaming. For the last year, or let's say the last 10 months or so, that's pretty obviously been the PlayStation 5. The Xbox Series X was like a ghost when it launched, with no first-party games, not a single one, no exclusives, and the same style of marketing that was, as usual, aimed solely at America, and acts as if the rest of the world doesn't exist. It was very off-putting, and last year there was no question in my mind that PlayStation 5 was the one to get. Of course I couldn't get it, but it only made it feel more desirable, especially when the well-received games started coming out in the new year, like Returnal and Ratchet and Clank. I tried a number of times to buy it around that time, but with no luck. Then during the summer, my focus was elsewhere and craving stopped. Again, though, when the big Christmas games came out, even though they all turned out to be duds, that's another story. But really, what Rockstar, what a disaster. Oh, I'm losing my breath now. I haven't got to the juicy part yet. But now I've got a PlayStation 5. And while I don't even resent the extra money, you're paying for a service, and that is getting a new console. Sometimes this decade, I really haven't been impressed by the machine or its games. The console itself is the ugliest lump of plastic I've ever seen. This guy is speaking sense. This guy is spot on. The games aren't impressive. They're averaging 70% Metacritic. They're only 10 hours on, and they're over expensive. And the PlayStation 5 is super ugly and stupidly big and unsteady, like he said. Stupidly big and so unsteady on its little perch. When you lay it down horizontally, that I might thought mine was defective until I looked online and found that's just the way they are. This guy has been completely honest with his assessment of the PlayStation 5, and it took a year for people to be honest about the PlayStation 5. It took a year, but now Everybody is realising the PlayStation 5 is an overhyped console. The plan is to get more games at Christmas, but I have not been impressed at all by Ratchet & Clank. The gameplay and level design is very ordinary, and while the graphics are good, you can get quickly used to them and they stop feeling special. The worst thing though is that the portals are barely in the game and not used for anything clever that I've seen yet. That's not one boss where you go to another location to continue the fight, but you jump back and constantly. What's the whole point? Bloody hell, I still haven't got to the good bit yet. No. Now this is the main part. To be honest, I'm just wishing I had gotten a Series X from the start. Game Pass is too good value, and looks like Microsoft is very quickly going to have the first party exclusives to rival Sony. Yes, they're cheating by just buying everyone up without establishing any of their own. But you know what? So what? I'm not a charity here to support Sony. I just want to be where the best games are. He's talking the truth. He's talking the truth, guys. Elder Scrolls, Starfield, Fable 4. These are the best games. Perfect Dark, Fallout, Doom. All going to be Xbox exclusive. And things are changing recently. People are starting to realise that PlayStation sucks. This is David T. Over and out.